Today, we are meeting with Antonina for an important stage of her internship. She's from Poland, studying at the University of Gdansk and Faculty of History and Institute of Anthropology. As a part of her Erasmus Internship program, Antonina joined the Afro-Eurasian Research Institute. She spent the first month of her internship with us in our Istanbul office and is now completing the second month online. During the time, she explored our institute and worked on a project of her own. Today, she will present this project to us, share her analysis and results, and summarize it in no more than 20 minutes. Antonina, welcome once again, and thank you for your efforts. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. I didn't expect it. So my paper that I've been working on is called Calls of Freedom. I kind of took like a creative liberty in that, but it makes sense, and I will try to explain it in a while. I have to say that it had been probably one of the toughest essays for me to write ever because it was very much in a different field
I'm
of
sorry, I think
politics and
there is a problem in the video. Okay, now it's settled. Okay, you may continue, Antonio. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so it was very much in the field of politics and law, which I'm not very familiar with, I would say. I mean, at least in the like language and especially law. I had to read a lot of agreements done between the countries and European Union also agreements and different articles which were tough at the time, but yeah, I made it. So the topic of the essay is about the environmental politics in Poland. And when you speak about environmental politics in Poland, you have to consider the politics of the European Union and the international, like more international, global politics as well, because they tie to each other. They're kind of like this layer. You can think of it like even like a when you have the layers of the planet, our planet, you have the most outer layer, then you go inside and to the core. It's kind of similar to the environmental politics in general. So you have global politics, you have the for example, here you have the European Union politics, Polish politics, and then the local politics that are the local governments taking action locally. Yeah. So in my essay, I wanted to kind of highlight that it's not just the country's politics, but it's the international politics. It's the global politics that kind of shape how the country's politics are going to look like. And this is kind of what I highlighted in the first parts of the essay, the international frameworks. There I mostly talked about the Paris Agreement because it's changed a little bit. It's been adopted, but it's still like the framework, the foundation of just in general environmental politics. So I highlighted the goals of the agreement and how it works, and like the main difference between the European Union politics and the Paris Agreement is that it's way less like constrained. It's not as the European Union politics, they are very much how would you say that? They are more rigid. Yeah,
Rigid,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Rigid would be more suitable, yes. You can
Yeah,
say that.
exactly. And the Paris agreement politics, they are more
More
flexible.
flexible, as I understand,
They are more
comparatively at least.
inclusive. Yeah, exactly. Of the countries, like individuals state where they are at. They don't really require the same things from each country. So they take into consideration the like context of the country. So that's like the main difference. And as well, the European Union politics, they have maybe more set goals. They have very clear goals on what they want to achieve. So the most like important agenda, let's say, is the European Green Deal, that sets those goals and targets for the European Union countries, member states, and it's to achieve climate neutrality by 2050. And there's also a goal for 2030, which is 55 to reduce the gas emissions to 50, by at least 55%. So they are more rigid, and this is, I feel like, where the most traction is between the Polish
May I ask you a
politicians.
question at that point, Antonina, if
Yes,
it is okay for you?
yeah,
You think
of
that
course.
Polish government or Poland in general would how can I say they can guarantee this target which was issued by European Union, the 55% decrease in some carbon-free measures, as I can say.
To be honest, I'd say no, but at the same, because just looking at the well, the party that we are having that is ruling right now, and their approach to climate change and just climate action in general, I would say no. But at the same time, I think I have it somewhere that our renewable energy sources and the energy that we get from the renewable energy sources is very high, which I didn't expect. I mean, very high, not compared to the European Union in general, but way higher than I would expect, and it's quite close to the goal. But
And
I
there are
think
some
no,
historical and traditional reasons for that,
exactly,
as I
exactly.
understood from your project.
Yes,
Would you please
so
explain, elaborate it a bit for us, please?
yeah. I can go now to Poland. So the issue in Poland, or I wouldn't, maybe not an issue, but the situation in Poland is that coal has been an incredibly significant, well, now it's more like a symbol, but just energy source in general, because we had a lot of it, and it kind of powered our industrialization. I mean, for most countries, yes, but it really meant it was like a development symbol, you know? It made the country grow economically stronger, and yeah, so it's still kind of this symbol of making Poland stronger economically on like the international plane. And this is kind of this symbol, this kind of I would say it's kind of obsolete right now, but it becomes this, I would say, like a weapon for the our ruling party
Uh,
to
it
maybe
could
not,
be cited as an instrument instead of
yeah,
weapon.
like an instrument,
Instrumentalization. We can talk
yeah,
about that, I think, personally.
yeah, to kind
Please
of,
continue.
no, it's like, to kind of stay, maybe not stay, but it's kind of, it makes the European Union on one side and Poland on the other side. It's like the instrument of divide, I would say. And of this freedom. This is why I called it the call of freedom, because it meant freedom before, like an independence, economic independence. And they are still like stuck to this idea of coal being our like way to the future, and to development, further development. And I guess this notion from the European Union to stop using coal and to turn into more like a environmentally friendly, sustainable country kind of is in clash with the idea of the development. And kind of, well, a lot of the politicians from the Law and Justice Party, they
Mhm.
present it as this, you
What
know,
is the ruling party's general stance on that topic? What would you
on
say about that?
the European Green
The
Deal.
environmental policies, especially.
Yeah, usually they present it as a threat, yeah,
Mhm,
to our, or like to Poland's own agenda, or
mhm.
even economic, like sovereignty, or like self-reliance. So usually they are quite negative towards it, or
They
mostly
find this
negative.
kind of measures unrealistic, you want to say, at
Yes,
that point.
yes, very
Mm,
much so. Yeah, but especially,
okay.
and I
Why they are
think,
thinking that way? Can you elaborate a bit for us, please?
yeah, of course. Well, I think for that, and I think there is some truth to that, that they find it unrealistic because of our history and
Mhm.
because of this reliance
What
on.
is I'm sorry, what is the historical background of the coal? Can you explain a bit for us? I want
Yeah,
that you clarify that
yeah, of
for the
course.
Turkish followers especially.
Yeah. So the coal has become very significant, well, in the industrial era, but also after the war.
Mhm,
It became like it's an actual fuel, but also a fuel for
mhm.
development. Uh, and
Is it a
and
strategic metal sorry, is a resource for your country?
I
Coal,
think it was, well, now also, because especially now with the sanctions
especially
for
after the Second World War, perhaps, right?
yes, it was very, very significant,
Mhm,
but also with the sanctions that were put on Russia
mhm,
after they started a war in Ukraine, the coal again became very cost effective. So it's
mhm.
very cheap
Okay,
compared to the gas. So it kind of
okay, thank you.
strengthened this idea that coal is very important for our independence because we
Mhm,
don't have to like take electricity that is very
mhm, mhm,
expensive
mhm,
from other places, um, and fuel. So yeah, so it's very much a kind of like independence symbol and
mhm,
development symbol. And also I had like a week of workshops and research in the area where the coal has been uh how do you say
a
it?
symbol of
Yeah, so there's,
independence and sovereignty, I think, national
yeah,
sovereignty.
there was like so the area, there's a lot of mines because it has the coal there, let's just say that. And I talked with a lot of former miners, and
Mhm,
nowadays it's a bit different because the mines are closing down,
mhm,
and kind of the place is suffering the consequences of so many mines being there. So you have landslides, and I'm not really sure how they are called, but a lot big kind of artificial mountains of residue that can also catch on fire, and a lot of the times they do. But at the same time, a lot of the older miners, they would say that this was like the place of opportunity where they mined coal. So I think it's still very relevant in the like public memory
mhm.
that the coal was, and the land of coal was the land of opportunity. So people
Mhm.
from more
Okay.
agriculturally dependent places, they would come there and make a living, and this living would be on way higher standard than than the place they came from. So there's also that. So there's also this like social context to it, that the mines provided development on like an individual level. And I feel like the government really plays on this memory, on this remembrance. Yeah. But there's also the fact that our ruling party is directly sponsored by the mining industry. So you also have this symbolical aspect, but also like a very real aspect of just them supporting the party. Yeah. So that would be the Polish context. We also have I touched on it briefly, but I guess it could be in another essay, another paper about the agriculture.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
in Poland. Yeah. So the agriculture is just, there's also this pull in Poland towards a more economically efficient way of how do you say, farming. While the European
It's an
Union's
important sector in economic life, right? In Poland, Antonina.
yes, very much. I think 14% of people are still employed in the agricultural sector, which is quite high for European countries in general. So it's a very important sector, and a lot of benefits came from the European Union and the finances that it provided, but it had like a different agenda. So it supported smaller farms and more ecologically diverse. So if you had used the European Union's finances as a farmer, you had to have a diversity in terms of crops. I think they had to have at least 3 crops. So the monoculture was impossible with those finances. So yeah, it kind of stands in the opposite way of how Poland wants to develop their agriculture, which is monoculture, big farms, and just focusing on export and just producing as much as possible. Yeah, so this is like another area of clash between Poland's
Exactly.
politics and European Union politics. Yeah. So I would say that that's it mostly.
Okay, thank you very much, Antonina, for your good presentation. You explained well, generally, the details.